There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes here at Women Speakers Association, and there are several team members who have been our unsung heroes. And today we are changing that. They are no longer going to be unsung. And over the next few months, we are going to spotlight our extraordinary team members. And today we have our first premier member spotlight with Brigitte Stills, who has made immense contributions here at Women Speakers Association and is a leader in Australia in the real estate industry. Hi, Brigitte.
Hello, Laura. So good to speak with you. I'm Brigitte Stills, and I'm here in Sydney, Australia today. I'm a consultant and a coach and a mentor, and I work within the real estate space. And you can reach me on www.stillsproperties.com.au.
So great to have you here because I don't know that many people know how much you do behind the scenes here at Women Speakers Association, and I want you to spill the beans. What has been your role and what has been your involvement here?
Oh, look, I started off with Women Speakers Association, I think it's about 3 years ago. I became the global business connector for Sydney, Australia, and I run monthly connect and collaborate meetings. Look, it's bringing women with a vision and a mission together to better themselves, whether you're an author, a speaker, or a presenter. This is the space for you. And we're growing quite well at the moment, and we've got monthly, spotlight speakers that we get from all over the world, and women that are really teaching us and about different techniques and systems. And as I said, it's working very well.
I really love that you've opened up the world of Women Speakers Association to Australia, but I know you've been a huge impact in Australia and especially in Sydney, in your region where you reside. Can you tell us more about your mission, your passion?
Look, my mission and my passion has been for many, many years to help women grow, to better themselves, to be high achievers, to never give up in whatever it is they're doing. And I specialise in coaching and mentoring and consulting to property managers specifically, but I do have some ordinary real estate agents that are, wanting to grow or get some marketing techniques, things that I've been doing over 4 decades being in the industry. So that's been my passion. Look, I work with women or men, whoever they happen to be, and it's usually to do with producing marketing techniques, systems, structures, anything along those lines that they may have difficulties with. And it's working quite well. And that happened by sheer accident, actually, because I ran a business for 27 years and I specialised in property management, but we also had a sales department. And during that time, we actually received a number of calls from agents within our area that wanted to know what it is that we're doing, because we introduced some different techniques with regards to listing rental properties. We started off with executive leasing when executive leasing was brand new. And that was more to do with a lot of people coming to Australia to work. Expats, they were coming from all over the world. And so that's how I sort of started off with the property management side for my business, to specialise in it. And I've had this passion because I see what a lot of people are going through, especially since COVID, where they've found themselves a little bit left behind and their confidence has slipped away. And now that we're all back in the office again, it's getting back to that workspace and getting back to that way of doing business. And property management isn't just a 7 or 8 hour job. It can be anything up to about 9 or 10 hours. And when you say, you don't work on the weekends, they always do. And that has a lot to do with time management. So I've come up with some time management techniques for property management people and their principals, and it seems to be working quite well.
Wow. So you have a boatload of wisdom here. And I know there's some advice that I want to pull out of you in terms of, okay, so you talked about, confidence being at a low after the pandemic. And what advice would you have for people regarding their confidence? Let's start with that first.
Well, confidence is a big thing. It's a big word. It depends on what has gone wrong to bring you to a level where you're lacking confidence. You know, is it your workplace? Is it your private life? Is it your family? Is it your friends? You know, what has brought you to that level where you are now lacking in confidence? And I think the big step is for any business owner or somebody that has a team of workers is to find out exactly what it is that they need, and whether it's something that has gone wrong within their workspace. Is it something that somebody that they're working with? But at the end of the day, it's working on your confidence means you've got to address what it is that's brought you to that level first. And then from there on, you can grow from, you know, from wherever it happens to be. When I talk to people about their confidence, I delve a little bit deeper and I try and find out what brought them to this level. And a lot of people say to me, oh, you know, I had a bad phone call and I've had 3 bad phone calls this week and I just don't know whether I want to do this job anymore. Well, that's where the lack of confidence started. You know, their egos were knocked a little bit sideways. Something hasn't gone right. And it's about it comes to the point of where you walk away from what you are doing for a period of time, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, or give yourself a couple of days through over the weekend to get a, you know, to have a break and walk away and have a good think about it. Usually you can decipher what those calls meant to you and what it was that brought you to that level. But it's understanding yourself a little bit more. We don't really sit down and look at ourselves and say, you know, you know, I've got this problem with myself, or I'm feeling with a lack of confidence. And, you know, why am I feeling this way? And I think if you sat back and you thought why you're feeling this way, 9 times out of 10, you can come up with something that will help you get better and help you achieve what it is you're aiming at.
So it's almost a gift when you uncover the source of your lack of confidence. It gives you the opportunity to grow and find a growth point and a growth path to get better. I also think I don't know, would you agree with that?
Look, I totally agree. And, you know, we're all in the people industry and not, you know, people that are working with people really need to be able to decipher and be able to communicate. And we all need to know what that message is that we are receiving from the other side. Sometimes, you know, somebody's telling you something, but really, what is the message? You know, are you listening? Are you a good listener? And I think if you sit back and you actually listen and decipher what that person's telling you, you can, you know, 9 times out of 10, you can work it out as to what it is you need to do or what it is you need to say.
It also seems like if you take that time, like you say, to understand the message, you may have taken it way too more personally than it really what is. It may be the other person's issue than your own, and you just took it on as a personal affront or a personal commentary on your own abilities. Whereas if you just listen and let it go by, you may have some more freedom there.
Well, we all seem to do that though, don't we? You know, somebody says something to us and we take it personally, and it may not be relevant to the business that we're in or the job that we're doing at hand, but they may be commenting or making a comment, and we do take it personally. And it's taken that personal side away from what it is that you're doing, yeah, from the business side sometimes. But it's very hard. We're all human, you know, and that's what happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I know you've had a journey of being very passionate about what you do. How does that play into one's confidence?
Look, I had a hard start in my time. I started real estate in 1975. That's a long time ago. And, you know, being a woman in the industry, I didn't have any confidence either. You know, if I didn't have a couple of people around me that sort of propped me up every now and again, I wouldn't be here today doing what I'm doing either. But the point of the matter is, it's what you believe in. Do you believe in yourself? You know, do you believe that this job is the right job for you? And then you can work on that level and you can start building your confidence. But the journey was a hard one for me. I started off in property management and I got into sales. And then I saw a niche in the property management industry and I started to refocus in property management. And that has been my passion. And my passion has been to give back to people that are in my industry. For the simple reason is I know what you go through. I know the phone calls that you get. I know the people that you're dealing with. You know, angry people ring you for whatever reason. They may have had a bad day. So the first person they pick up the phone to is, you know, the property manager or the property officer and complain about, you know, I've had a leak or the PowerPoint's not working or something along those lines. And it's understanding that they're not directing at you, they're directing at the fact that there's a problem with a property. So it's My passion is getting people to understand that it's not you as the individual, it is the job. And the job's hard. And you need backup. You know, you need a mentor. We all need mentors in businesses that we do, but you need somebody there to help you and to inspire you and to keep you motivated. And that's been my passion. And that is my passion.
It's so inspiring, like you say. And so tell us a little bit more about who are you most passionate about working with and why did they seek you out?
As I said, my passion is property managers or their staff. Principals, usually business owners, phone me, and they phone me for various reasons. The majority of calls that I've had in the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 months have been to do with they're wanting to build their businesses, or they've run sales departments, they've run, realtors, as you would call it, but they haven't had a property management department, and subsequently they're wanting to grow that. And I see there may be some changes in our industry going forward next year, and it's going to be a little bit tougher. So what they're looking at doing is growing that part of their business. Property management is the bread and butter of a real estate industry. You get money at the end of the month, no matter what, whether you sell a property or not. But with property management, that money comes in regularly at the end of the month. And subsequently, they're trying to build their portfolios. And to me, they come to me and they say, well, where do I start? How do I do it? Who do I employ? Where do I find my rental properties? Should I buy a rent roll? Or should I grow it organically? They're the questions that I get faced with when I'm having this conversation with people. And I'm a firm believer in growing your rent roll organically, is getting out there, finding your niche, building your marketplace, and getting your space and getting your name out there, your brand, and having your team grow and getting them out there and being proactive in the marketplace. And so that's that part of it. And the other part of it is they want to know sometimes about, I'm having difficulties with my staff. I'm not quite sure whether I need more staff or whether I need to have a, clean out, whether I need to shake things up a little bit. And then I sometimes have to wonder why that is happening, where when it gets to the point where they phone me and they say, look, they're having problems with their staff or the people they're working with, and I'm thinking to myself, well, how long's that's gone on for? Are you at the point now where you're in dire straits and you need a big shake-up? So they're the type of conversations that I have with business owners.
Yeah, I mean, I love that you're positioned as this real estate growth coach, consultant, and mentor, because you have not only do you have like the personal development, how do you improve your self-confidence wise, like we talked about, but you have the strategies and, like you were saying in the beginning, the marketing techniques for people to grow their real estate businesses, whether it's on sales or rent rolls, and that automatic income through management. I love that. Um, can you tell us a little bit more about your story? You said you started here in 1975 in real estate. What was that like, and what was your journey along the way?
Well, it was an interesting journey for me because I was actually studying psychology at a university, and I needed to, get some money to pay for my fees going forward. And I ended up taking on a part-time job with a development company leasing properties. And I did that really quite well. And I subsequently was asked, would I join their team? And I enjoyed the job. I love the communication. I love the people that I was meeting. I love the fact that I was helping people find new homes and somewhere to live. To the point where people, moved into apartments and they couldn't take their pets, and I ended up having all these dogs at my house. I'd take them home so these people could live in these apartments, which was very interesting for me. So I did that for a number of months. And then they asked me to join their sales team. They were strata titling their buildings, and they were selling off something like 750 apartments. And I got involved with their sales team, and I started selling on the weekend and throughout the week. But the point of all of this was I wasn't making really any money. I was only getting something like $200 per sale. I was on a salary, but I was around $200 per sale. And I used to think to myself, I should be making more money, doing what I'm doing. So I started looking around and I decided that this was going to be my career path. I enjoyed what I was doing. I was good at what I was doing. I had a proven track record. And subsequently, I sought out a large organisation that had something like 13 offices within Sydney, New South Wales. And I applied for a job with them. And it was very hard because they didn't employ women. I was the first known real estate saleswoman in the industry at that time. And they kept telling me this because my name was the only one that would appear in the Sydney Morning Herald, the newspaper, when anything was going up for sale. And I ended up getting a job with this company, and I had 4 interviews. The general manager didn't think that women were right for the job, and my manager, my office manager, he was the one that supported me. He was the one that kept me going and saying, yes, keep at it, you'll get the job. And basically I did. So from there, I started selling real estate for this company, and I had to work hard because I was on a 6 weeks trial. So if I didn't make a sale within 6 weeks, I wasn't going to be there. Subsequently, I did make a sale. It was a hard sale. We just exchanged on the last day of the 6 weeks. And from there, my business grew in the sense that I was the only woman in the office. There were 13 men. I was the only woman, plus the receptionist at the front desk. And it was hard work. It was hard work speaking to these guys because they didn't really want to communicate with me. I was an outsider. What do I want to do there? What do I want to be there for? What am I taking away from them? So every listing that I was going for was twice as hard because I had to work harder to get it because I was a woman. But look, it all worked out in the end. It was years and years of hard work. In 18 months of being there, I actually made my first huge sale, which was the biggest sale for the office at an auction. And that sort of set me apart from the rest, which basically my name was in the local papers and in the Sydney Morning Herald. And people really got to know me as the saleswoman in the area. And from there on in, I was getting a lot of listings and I started doing really well. And the company then started employing women in real estate. They decided that they were going to get a woman for this office, a woman for that office. And they asked me, would I mentor them? And I couldn't believe that they would ask me to mentor them after, the problems that I had and what I actually went through. But that's how I grew from that particular point of making that sale. And being exposed to a wider range of people. My audience grew. People started coming into the office and asking for me instead of saying, I want to sell my property. Where's the manager?
With all the resistance you encountered, especially being a woman in real estate, what kept you going?
My passion kept me going. I was starting to make money. I bought my first house, and I remember I went to the Commonwealth Bank. I don't know whether you know the Commonwealth Bank up the road. This was in Burwood, and the manager at the Commonwealth Bank said, "We don't actually lend money to women." He said, "You would be the first." And I said, "Oh," and I said, "Well, what do I need to give you? What documents? What do you need?" Anyway, I ended up calling on the office manager, and I said, "Can you come and help me and tell this man, what I've been selling and everything along." I had all my paperwork. I had everything that I needed. I got the loan. I ended up getting the loan where the manager was saying, she's made this many sales. She's good at this, she's got that many listings happening and whatever. So I got the loan. So that was another first. And I think being the first known woman in real estate, being the first one to get a loan through the Commonwealth Bank at that particular time, I think that gave me my purpose and my passion. And from there on in, that is what I wanted to do. And I was aiming higher and higher. And I had a mortgage to pay, so I wasn't going to change jobs. I was going to keep on going, and I was doing well at it.
So your perseverance and your passion was so critical to your success, because at any one of these setbacks where somebody would say something to you like, well, women don't do this, or we don't loan to women, that was not, you didn't hear that. You heard, well, how can I, right?
Well, look, I heard it, and I kept asking myself, you've got this far. I used to say to myself, well, look how far you've come in this many years. You've jumped over so many hoops. And I had to keep saying this to myself, especially at night. keep going, because you go home, you were drained, you're exhausted. And I kept saying to myself, when on my drive home, I used to say, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? But then at night, I'd lie there and I'd say to myself, you're doing this because look what you have achieved. This is your passion. This is obviously what you're meant to be doing. This is the work you're meant to be doing. And then I'd look at the people that I'd sold properties to and the gifts that I'd received and the smiles that I get from people when they settled and they moved in and they'd invite me around to come and have a look what they've done to their house, or they've redecorated and they wanted my opinion. And to me, that was such a high. My morale was being boosted. I felt absolutely wonderful about what I was achieving for other people.
And now you're a coach and a mentor and a consultant to those firms that want to know your secrets that you've developed over the past few years. Is there anything else you want to add to that about what you do?
No, not really. Look, that is my passion and purpose. That's what I do. And people do call me for those reasons. It's usually people in business that have been in business for many years and they've heard of me or they know me, or somebody has, said, oh, call Brigitte. We'd like you to collaborate with her about what she's doing. And I talk to people all the time and they say, how long have you been in the industry? And I say 45 years. And they say, you can't have possibly been. Nobody stays that long. And I say, yes, I do. And it's lovely and it's good and I enjoy it. And I think the word gets out that people know where you've been and what you're doing and what you've achieved. And that's how people come to me.
And what's the biggest challenge you're seeing that people are coming to you with today?
The biggest challenge seems to be economy. The economy is having a few difficulties, and that's just global as it stands at the moment. And I think employing the right staff, that's another challenge. Keeping in my line of business, property management, it's keeping their property management, in hand. There seems to be a few landlords that are now going to be selling for simple changes to legislation and regulations. So they need boosting. These owners are now looking at their businesses going forward, and that's a challenge for them as to how they're going to get through the next few years and what do they need to do to keep growing and to keep their staff happy and motivated.
Well, it's really a testament to you and the 45 years you've been doing this, that you're on top of the changes and what's needed today. So I'm really curious, how can people get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Oh, look, the best way is to probably contact me at brigitte@stillsproperties.com.au. Or you can phone me. Just check me out on LinkedIn or Facebook or anywhere along those lines, and you'll be able to come up with my details.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, Brigitte, for being a value team player here at Women Speakers Association, for bringing women's voices and elevating them through the Voices of the 21st Century book, through your global business connector role, through the Connect and Collaborate sessions, and for all that you do for real estate and people in Australia. You are a global leader for sure. And we are so happy to spotlight you on the stage.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And we'll be back with another episode of our Premier Women Show and WSATV next week. Thanks, everyone. And thank you, Brigitte.